Hi, kindergartners, and welcome back to another expedition lesson. Now remember, in expedition, we've been talking about a big guiding question, and that guiding question stays in our mind as we do all of our new learning. Our guiding question is, how are trees important to others? And we've already been doing a lot of really important learning with that question in mind to help us understand why and how are trees important to others. We learned in A Kiss Goodbye that trees are important to these characters here because it was their home and a place where they felt safe, right? We learned in The Kukui Tree that a tree was really important to this character because it reminded him of all the special times he had with his friend. In Miss Donnie's book, Gus is a Tree, we learned that trees are important because it was a place that Gus could go to relax and to play. And today, we're going to learn even more about how trees are important to others in this book right here, A Tree for Emmy. And we're going to find out how trees are important to our character right here, Emmy. But before we get into this book, I wanted us to talk a little bit more about a character trait that we've kind of touched on a little bit in math. And that character trait is right back here. It's called critical inquiry. And remember, critical inquiry is when we stop and we think about our thinking. And that's really helpful for us because when we stop and we think about what's going on in our head, sometimes we can see, does this make sense? Do I know what's happening? Do I need help understanding? And if we think about that, that helps us to be able to ask for help or ask for somebody to explain things to us. So today, as we read A Tree for Emmy, we're going to use our brain and our character trait, critical inquiry, to meet this learning target right here. Let's go ahead and read it. I can ask and answer questions about the characters, setting, and main events in A Tree for Emmy. Now, let's go back and think about what it's asking us to do. It says I can ask and answer questions. So it wants us to do two things. It wants us to ask and to answer to make sure that we understand what's happening in the story. And not only the story, but it wants us to know about the characters. That's the person in our story. The setting. Where is it happening? And the main events. What happened in the story? Okay? Now, to help you ask and answer questions about those things, I made an anchor chart. You'll notice our anchor chart has two different sides, a red side and a green side. Now, on our red side, at the top it says, if you, This is when we use our critical inquiry to figure out what's happening in our brain. And if we come to a part where our brain is confused or we don't know what's happening, we stop. So this is all the times when we need to stop. Remember, red means stop. Now on this side, it says ask. These are questions that we can ask to help our brain understand a little bit better and for us to keep going. So my green side means go. Now let me show you how to use this. If you are confused, stop and ask. Can you please help me understand? Can you please help me understand why this tree has a mark on it? Oh, the mark means it's about to be chopped down. If you don't know the characters, stop and ask, who is Who is that right there? Oh, that's Hilo right there. If you don't know what happened, stop and ask, what happened when, What happened when he took the tree seeds to Koa? Oh, they got lost. If you don't know where something is, stop and ask, where is Where is Chester right here? Oh, he's standing outside his tree home. And finally, if you don't know what a word means, stop and ask, what does the word mean? Let me see. What about this one? Stop. What does kukui mean? Oh, kukui is the name of the tree. All right, so as we do our reading today, I really want you to keep critical inquiry in your mind. Think about what's happening in the story, and if you get confused, stop, and we'll ask some questions to help us better understand. Are you ready? For our story today, we actually have a special guest listener, and his name is Patrick Panda. Patrick, can you say hello? Hi, friends! Patrick Panda is going to be listening to our story, and he's really going to be focusing on critical inquiry. And if he comes to the part of the story that he's confused or he doesn't know something, he's going to stop and he's going to ask a question so that he understands better. Okay? Now, Patrick, you're going to have to sit there and you're going to have to be a good listener. Good listeners have their eyes on the story and they're listening to the words. A tree for Emmy. Emmy loved all kinds of trees. Oak trees with acorns, pine trees with cones, willows with long swishy branches. But best of all, Emmy loved the mimosa tree in Grandma's pasture.
Wait. I'm a little confused. I need to stop and ask a question.
Well, Patrick, what do you have a question about?
I don't know what a word means.
So let's look. When we don't know what a word means, we ask, what does the word mean? Why don't you try?
Okay, what does the word pasture mean?
Well, let's take a look. It says, but best of all, Emmy loved the mimosa tree in Grandma's pasture. A pasture is kind of a big chunk of land outside that maybe cows and horses live on, kind of like a farm. Do you think that helps you better understand what's happening in the story?
Well, yeah, it helps me understand where Emma's favorite tree was.
Oh, smart thinking. Keep using that critical inquiry. In spring, Emma swung from the tree's strong, low branches. "Look at me," she shouted. "I'm a possum, swinging by my tail." "I declare, Emmy," said Grandma, "that old tree is a lot like you, stubborn and strong and just a little bit wild." In summer, the tree was covered with fuzzy pink blossoms. Emmy put one blossom over each ear. "Look at me," she called. "I'm a fuzzy bug with pink buggy feelers." Look at her being so silly. She has a good imagination. In the fall, the tree's seed pods covered the ground. When Emmy shook them, the pods rattled like maracas. My tree, my beautiful tree," Emmy sang. She danced around the pasture, shaking the pods. "Stubborn and strong and just a little bit wild, just like me." Emmy's yard didn't have a mimosa tree. It had willows and oaks and pines. "They're nice," Emmy said, "but they're not stubborn and wild. They're not like me."
Wait. I'm confused again.
Oh, it looks like we need to stop and ask another question. What are you confused about?
Well, I don't know who some of these characters are.
Oh, you have a question about the characters? So let's try asking, who is You try.
Okay, who is that girl in the sandbox over there? And who is that dog?
Well, let's look. It says that they're in Emmy's backyard. So this little girl right here, maybe that's Emmy's little sister because she's in Emmy's backyard. And then this right here, who do you think this might be? Yeah, I think so too. I think that's Emmy's puppy or her pet. Emmy's birthday came in the summer. "I want a mimosa tree for my birthday," she said. "What would you do with it?" asked Mama. "Love it and water it and play with it," said Emmy. "Okay then," said Daddy. "Let's go buy a mimosa tree." Oh, I think we made a good prediction because remember we said this little girl in the sandbox was Emmy's sister and now they're kind of at a table having a birthday cake together. So that makes me think even more that that's Emmy's little sister and maybe her mommy and her daddy, huh? Sounds like she really wants a mimosa tree for her birthday. But buying a mimosa tree was not so easy. "A mimosa?" said the man at the garden store. "We don't have any of those." "Why not?" asked Emmy. "Mimosas grow wild. We don't sell them." "Why not?" asked Emmy. "Well, you don't buy wildflowers, do you, young lady?" said the man. "Stores don't sell clover and dandelions." "Clover and dandelions are pretty," Emmy said. Uh-oh, it sounds like there's a problem in this story. The mimosa tree isn't at the store. Oh, look, she looks very sad about it. "Sorry," said the lady at the next shop. "No one sells wild trees." "But it's going to be my birthday present," said Emmy. The lady smiled. "Well, we have plum trees and peach trees, sweetie. They will give you nice fruit." "But they don't have fuzzy pink flowers," said Emmy. "Well, here's a tulip tree," said the lady. "It has lovely pink blossoms in the springtime." "Are they fuzzy?" asked Emmy. "No," said the lady. "Do they have rattly seed pods that shake, shake, shake?" asked Emmy. "Oh, no," said the lady. "Pink fuzz and seed pods make a dreadful mess. I'm sure your parents wouldn't really want one of those." "We want what Emmy wants," said Daddy. "Come on, Emmy, we'll find something else for your birthday." "I don't want something else," said Emmy. Mama hugged her. "I know, honey, but we can't find your tree right now. Just for today, could you just visit Grandma's tree?" "Oh, I guess," said Emmy. At Grandma's, she ran straight to her favorite tree and gave it a hug. "Dumb old stores," said Emmy. "No mimosas, no fair." She flopped down under the tree and squeezed her eyes shut to keep in all of her tears. Aww. Something touched Emmy's nose. She opened her eyes. A big weed was tickling her face. Wait, no, it wasn't a weed. With that long stem and those feathery green leaves, it looked just like... Wait a minute. Could it be? What do you think it might be? It was a mimosa tree! Emmy ran to get Mama and Daddy and Grandma. My, said Grandma, peering down. That's a mimosa tree, all right. A baby one, but a tree all the same. "Can I have it, Grandma?" begged Emmy. "For my birthday, please." "Why, surely," said Grandma. So Grandma and Emmy set to work carefully. They dug up the tiny tree. Emmy wrapped the roots in newspaper so they wouldn't dry out, and then they put the mimosa tree in a big tomato can for the trip home. Emmy scouted the yard for a special place for her tree. "Under my window," she decided, "so I can see it all the time." Emmy and her parents dug a hole for the little tree. "I can't wait for the fuzzy pink flowers and the rattly seed pods," said Emmy. "When will that be?" "Well, Emmy, honey, it's just a baby tree," said Mama. "It won't have flowers or seed pods for quite some time." "It won't?" said Emmy. "No, it won't," said Mama. "No fair!" yelled Emmy. "Dumb old tree!" She ran to her room and flopped on the bed. She buried her head in her pillow and wished for a tree like Grandma's, stubborn and strong and tall. "Wait a second. I'm confused again. I don't understand what happened." "Well, then let's stop. If you don't know what happened, ask, what happened when?" "Okay, I'll try. Hey, friends, what happened when Emmy got mad? I don't understand." "Well, let's take a look." It looks like Emmy thought her tree, her little tree, would have flowers and seeds really soon. But look, it's just a baby tree. I think Emmy's feeling a little upset that it's going to take a long time for her tree to grow. Oh, I get it now. Let's keep reading. Ch-ch-choom! Emmy sat up and looked out the window. Daddy was cutting the grass. Soon he would be right under her window. She ran outside. "Daddy!" she shouted, waving her arms. Daddy turned off the lawnmower. "My tree," said Emmy. "You're going to mow right over it." Huh? Said Daddy. You mean the dumb old tree? Emmy looked down at her tiny tree. It can't help being small, she said. It will grow someday if I water it and love it and keep it safe. I think she's right. We learned all about what trees need, huh? I suppose so, said Dad. Why don't we build it a fence? So Emmy and her daddy made a stick and string fence all the way around the tree. Now it can grow, said Emmy. Till then, I can pick the pink blossoms off of Grandma's tree. But someday soon, Emmy knew her baby tree would grow up tall, stubborn and strong, and just a little bit wild, just like her. Wow, friends. Look, with water and sun and lots of love, her tree got so big.
Now it's your turn to use critical inquiry and answer this question. What was the story mostly about? If you need some help, you can use this sentence frame. The story was mostly about, Can't wait to see your videos, friends. Bye!